This is FCTV, fan-controlled television. Programs created and produced for the fans, by the fans of fan-controlled sports and entertainment. As always, power to the fans. And now, it's time for the show.
What's up, Internet? Welcome to Don't Khah Ruckus, the only sports debate show that tries not to take things too seriously. I am your host, Jose Ruckus. Joining me, as always, is my good friend and arch rival, AJ Khah. What's going on, AJ?
Not too much, man. Am I sounding okay? Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, just want to double check that. I'm doing good, man. Thanksgiving was fun.
Nice.
A lot of food, a lot of family, a lot of soccer. So I'm just excited to talk about it all. Catch up. It's been 2 weeks.
Well, if you didn't know what the show is, this is a sports debate show that does not stick to sports. Every single Wednesday, 6 o'clock p.m., we do this here on twitch.tv/fan-controlled-sports. You can also catch it over at youtube.com/fan-controlled-sports any time of the week. AJ,
we're also a podcast now.
Soccer. Oh, it's a podcast now?
It's a podcast now. We listened to it on the drive. I had like a 14-hour drive to New York and then up to New Hampshire. We're a podcast, man. We're on the Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. You can listen to Don't Khah Ruckus now.
Wow, Don't Khah Ruckus on the podcasting services. That's crazy. Well, let's get into the show, man, because you want to talk about some soccer. I want to talk about some soccer. This is going to be the rare time ever on an American show that we're leading off with soccer topics, because the World Cup, we're in the thick of it. We're halfway through the group stages. I believe tomorrow the rest of the bracket's going to get filled out. We made some predictions a couple weeks ago about how the World Cup was going to go. Some of them were correct. Some of them not as correct. So let's just do a recap about where things are right now, kind of what opinions we had going on. The teams that we know about, half the brackets filled out. Netherlands, USA is going to be on Saturday, as well as Argentina and Australia. France and Poland will be playing on Sunday, and England and Senegal have made it through. So for the most part, I think we were right about most of this, right? Like, I don't think we got too many picks here where we were wrong.
No, not really. I think Group C, I think we were kind of tied for Mexico. We said Poland has a shot, and they went through.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised how badly Mexico performed at this World Cup. Today they had to go all out and score multiple. I think they needed 3 goals against Saudi Arabia, and they did not get there, unfortunately. Poland,
they were close. They were very close.
They sure did get close. They needed Poland to upset Argentina as well, or they could get close to with some of the weird yellow card rules about how that gets progressed. It's so weird. But yeah, I mean, disappointed in the Mexican team this time around. This is the first time in a very, very long time that they're not going to make it through the group stage at the World Cup. So that's pretty crazy.
I mean, some sacrifices had to be made for US to go on. So
yeah,
if we had to sacrifice Mexico to the soccer gods, I personally am okay with it. I don't know. I'm okay.
I'll just be honest. I root for the Mexican team every World Cup, and but I will say, after the way that the Mexico fans treated the U.S. fans after we failed to make the World Cup last time around, I'm not exactly feeling too much sorrow for this team to not make it through. But yeah, rough couple years for them. I mean, losing in the Gold Cup, losing in the Nations League, like they're not doing particularly well right now. They sort of need to rethink their entire program. There were plenty of upsets throughout the tournament so far that we never really got a chance to talk to. I'll tell you what, just now looking at the bracket that the USA team has to go through, Netherlands is beatable. And at least for this tournament, both Argentina and Australia are beatable right now.
I mean, yeah, they have a pretty decent bracket breakdown as of now. There's still the second half of the group stages that need to be filled out. So
we do know some of the teams that Brazil is going to be there, right? We know that. But Argentina has not looked like the force you expected out of them going into the tournament. Obviously, They started off with a loss to the Saudi Arabia team. That was pretty insane.
That was
Lionel
a
Messi
giant
has
upset.
been huge, biggest upset of the tournament by far. Japan, Germany, that was pretty crazy, but no,
that was
by
really
far
crazy.
the Argentina upset. But it really speaks to like the Argentinian team is not as strong as people expected them to be at this tournament. They've been winning since then, but I mean, you've seen that team. I mean, it's all Messi or nothing pretty much there. He's generating the bulk of everything going on that team. Defensively, they've been really quite bad, honestly. So I will say, like, I mean, it's house money here for the U.S. Like, just getting through the group stage is sort of like, we knew it was going to be tough to get out of our group and get into the round of 16. So just the fact that they've done that, everything from here on out, it's just gravy on the top. It's I don't expect anything more out of this men's team. I'm very, very happy with what they've given me so far. But you know what? The Dutch are beatable. Argentina could be potentially beatable. It really just comes down to whether this team can continue to score goals and if Christian Pulisic's able to make it back on the pitch.
You're more confident than I in the US's outlook.
I'm not confident. I'm just saying, like,
there's a chance.
There. Like, I don't expect us to go any further, honestly. I'm not expecting anything anymore. It's just like, it's there for the taking if they want it. That'd be great.
But isn't that kind of sad though? Like I know that there has to be this level of expectation in the US team. Like, we're not expected to do as well as some of the other countries. Like, the fact that we're into the knockout rounds, a lot of like people are excited about, they're happy, they think this is like a great achievement. But in my mind, like, we need to, as a country, especially if we want to do well and bring soccer like to the youth and raise us up as a soccer country, we need to do better than just expect to get to the knockout rounds. Like, the fact that
I think so, like, especially with the group that we're coming out of, like, it's impressive that we've gotten this far.
Fair.
I mean,
fair.
you look at Mexico, they haven't made it out of the round of 16 in like 40 years. Like,
and Italy didn't get to the World Cup, but at the same time, I think we need to have higher expectations, because the only way we can continue to grow as a country in soccer is to continue to be like, have bigger expectations. Like,
next World Cup, there's so much more expectations. Right now, we have the youngest team in the World Cup. All these guys, it's their first World Cup pretty much.
Fair.
We're the youngest team playing as very, very difficult competition here. That they've made it this far is really the expectation. There were a lot of people who thought that, and I mean, even then, we've outperformed what people expected of us. We had a 0-0 draw against England.
They barely squeaked in.
4-0 defeat. No,
they barely squeaked in. Yes, come on. The only win they had was against an Iranian team who was facing a lot of turmoil within their country, and who, let's be real, had a good showing against Wales. Now, you never know. It could have bounced either way. There was a lot of opportunities on both sides. The U.S. definitely more dominant. They had the control of the ball a lot of times, but there were opportunities for Iran to score. There were a lot of close shots. It's one of those things where I think
at the end of the game, it opened up a lot for the Iranian team, absolutely. But when you look at the way that the English team battered Iran, battered Wales, and the fact that they couldn't score a goal on the U.S. Right now, the U.S. is looking like top 3 defensive teams in the World Cup.
But look at what everyone else did to Wales, though. Wales didn't win a game. They only scored one time in the entire cup, and it was against the U.S. The U.S. couldn't get past Wales
Not in
while
open
Iran
Haven't
and
conceded
England
a goal in open play.
beat both of them. Like, both beat them. So I'm just saying, I
It
think
should have
there
been a
needs to
win
be
for the
bigger
U.S.
level of
If it wasn't for
expectation.
Walker Zimmerman's bad foul there. That's a win for the U.S. We've had a couple bad halves and everything, but like a 0-0 draw in the World Cup against England. England looking like one of like the 5 best teams in the entire tournament. We're playing so far above expectation here. Haven't lost a game yet.
I think there needs to be more like greater expectations from these young guys. I think people need to hold them more accountable. That's the only way the U.S. soccer can continue to grow.
What
But that's
more do
just
they
my
need to
opinion.
do? We won the Gold Cup. We won the Nations League. Where we got into the round of 16. Like, this is more to it than you expect from teams with like soccer is their number one sport.
I mean, all I'm saying is, even though they're a young squad, look at the talent, look at the level of caliber these guys are on. Half of these players are in the Premier League as it is. Now, yes, this is a young squad, 100%, but this is the best squad the U.S. has ever put together as far as the world goes in a long, long time. Like, just the caliber of the teams that they're playing, like half of the teams are in the Premier League, and the people who are coming from the MLS are definitely stepping up to a level that a lot of people weren't expecting. I think this is showing that the US and the MLS are a legitimate league. Now, for me, I just want them to continue to keep that level up, like, of growth going. Because imagine if we like have these level of expectations where, like, yes, we need to get to the semifinals of the World Cup next year or next World Cup. 100%. I think that needs to be an expectation we have. But I'm just saying, hey, we need to next World Cup, we need to be able to have these expectations of they can beat these teams. There's not, oh, will they? Is it a potential? Wow, they tied with England. Yeah, that's great. But I want to be like, wow, they beat the crap out of England, or wow, they beat the crap out of like Croatia.
That's never.
You know,
it's never gonna be like that. It's unless you
I
are
wouldn't say
Brazil
never say
and
never.
you're Brazil and Argentina. Those are the only teams that you expect that kind of performance out of them. You look at the English. The English expect that performance out of their team, and they never get that performance out of their team.
But they're getting that. But okay, they have that expectation, and it's been a disappointment for years. But look at the English team now. They are literally the number one
they wanted to fire their coach because they drew to the U.S.
They still are kicking butt, though.
They're not. That is not a team that's going to make it far in this World Cup.
You don't think the English are going to go far?
Harry Kane hasn't scored a goal yet. Harry Kane, their best player, has not been up to snuff. And when you look at them tested against a real team, the U.S. team, that's what they look like against all these other teams. It's not going to be like it was against Iran. It's not going to be like it was against Wales.
I don't think the U.S.
When
is
they
a real
get into
team.
the round of 16, it's not going to be like that.
I really don't think the U.S. is a real team. They look good, yeah, but they're not a real team. I think the Netherlands are going to come
We
beat
play
them.
like a real team.
We play like an inexperienced young team with a lot of athleticism.
The only thing we lack is striking power. We have underdeveloped striking positions. We're not scoring a lot of goals, but defensively, we're up there with the best of them. And you see what we did to England defensively. That's what Spain's going to do. That's what France is going to do.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying is you're going off of one game where you're talking about England. I'm going off of the other game where they played Wales. Two different extreme levels.
Wales' best player he barely played all year. Gareth Bale's 40. He's an old man.
And they drew, but that's the point that I'm trying to say. They drew with the U.S. The U.S. should have beaten the crap out of them. You're just mad because I'm spitting facts, and you're just like, I can't.
No, your argument has no weight to it.
My argument has a ton of weight to it. What are you talking about?
When you look at how we play defensively, we are one of the best. I'm talking defense. They play the England plays a real defense. England is not making it far in this tournament. You're just not seeing the things they need. Their coach isn't playing the right players. Harry Kane, they're going to need Harry Kane to produce goals in this tournament. And that's not what he's doing. Harry
Kane is an old man. Look at the youngsters that they have on the squad. They legitimately destroyed other teams.
He's the best player on the team. He's the captain.
Just because you're the captain does not mean you're the best player.
Harry Kane is
That
the best
doesn't mean
player.
he's
Put
the
it on the
player.
poll. Put it on the poll. Is Harry Kane the best player in England? Let's move on to the next topic.
British people,
Because we got more soccer topics to get to.
Ah, yes. This is gonna be an angry one.
No, I'll let you go first on this one, okay? Because you wanted to talk about this. It's the last World Cup for Ronaldo and Messi. Who's better, Ronaldo or Messi? Who gets the title of GOAT?
I mean, I think it's obvious. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt. Like, besides the fact that I'm Portuguese, I think Ronaldo is the best player. And if you look at the stats, he gets it done where Messi does not. And that is internationally. He has brought a ton of... Seriously, man, look at it. The Euro Cup.
Oh, he gets it done internationally?
Yeah, dude. He has scored in every World Cup that he's ever been in.
He's never scored in the knockout rounds of a World Cup. Never scored in the knockout round of a World Cup.
I don't think that.
He gets it done internationally? Does he?
He won the Euro Cup. He also won the last league Euro that FIFA added, the National Cup or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. He's brought actual championships to his nation when Messi has only done that maybe once. And what was it, like the Copa America?
He won the Copa America. Now let's be real. The Portuguese national team is far better than the Argentinian national team throughout their entire careers. If Messi had chosen to play for Spain instead, you don't think that he would have brought home trophies?
Okay. Ronaldo beats out Messi in goals scored in club, goals scored in all-time career. The only thing Messi has above Ronaldo besides is just literally assists, and that's not by much. Ronaldo has more appearances. He hasn't been as hurt. Internationally, he has more appearances. And like I said, he brought national wins before Messi did. I think it's obvious. Not only that, he has an offer to be legitimately the most paid athlete in the history of athletes. This man will get paid $1 million a week. Literally got offered that.
Big deal.
If you're not the GOAT because you're getting paid $1 million a week, we have some questions.
Your ability to sell merchandise, sell jerseys, and bring attention does not indicate that you are... Who's the highest paid quarterback right now? Is it Tom Brady? Is it Tom Brady? No, it's not. Tom Brady's not even the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks. He's better than everybody else in the top 5.
And he needs to retire.
Won a Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Look at him performing this year. Is that a good performance? Is that worthy of being a top paid quarterback?
Doesn't matter. You said if you're the GOAT, you're the highest paid. Tom Brady has never been the high. Tom Brady's been the highest paid quarterback 1 year in his entire career. He's the GOAT.
Let's not get into that conversation because I still think that it's a conspiracy that Tom Brady is a GOAT. The NFL never had a GOAT before Tom Brady and his Falcons thing. No. Falcons were tearing him up. Somebody came in and was like, yo, I'm going to pay some
Everybody
guys
knew
off.
It was Joe Montana before this, and now everybody knows that it's Tom Brady.
We're not getting into
neither one of these guys. Neither one of these guys is the GOAT because you know who the GOAT is? Maradona. Maradona is the best soccer player in history. Okay, he's the man. He literally has a goal scored in the World Cup called the goal of the century. He's the best player in the history of the sport. Both these guys, frauds.
And he's also a cheat. The man scored with a handball. And you're going to tell me that the hand of God is great?
Ronaldo is currently petitioning to take a goal away from his teammate, pretending that it went off his head.
He's not petitioning. He literally said, oh, I thought it was mine. And even Bruno Fernandes was like, I thought he hit it.
He's having the Portuguese team put together a presentation to FIFA so that he can get the goal.
I like, what? I genuinely don't think that that's true. I haven't seen one thing that says that. If it is, then okay, maybe. But even Bruno Fernandes went out of his way to say, hey, I thought it was Ronaldo. I thought he hit him. And if you take in consideration if Ronaldo wasn't there, that wouldn't have been a goal. He pulled the goalie away from where it was going and expected a ricochet off his head. So regardless, Ronaldo being there made that goal happen.
No.
Just his presence alone pulled the goalie out of position.
No, I don't.
You really don't. Go back to that goal.
I don't believe it.
Watch it, and everyone thought it was a pass. Everyone thought it was a pass. You just know that I'm spitting facts.
Do it in the round of 16. Score a goal in the round of 16. Then maybe we can start talking about your goal. Win a World Cup once in your career. Then we'll start.
Messi hasn't won a World Cup.
Neither of them have. That's why Maradona is number 1. Did it in the World Cup.
That's an easy way out. That's an easy way out. I'm just saying.
Won the World Cup.
You can also say Pele is the best.
Number 2, Pele. Number 2 is Pele. Why? Did it in the World Cup.
You're just doing this to push my buttons, and you know it. You're bringing in a C category when it's A or B. It's not the way this works. All right.
I don't like Messi. I don't like Ronaldo. I like other soccer players. I like Maradona. He's the best. We got some more Ronaldo talk though, because like you mentioned, Ronaldo recently got a huge offer to play in the Saudi Arabia team. He's mentioned this before. He's a free agent now since we last talked. They have mutually parted ways with his club. Is he going to the Saudi leagues? Is he going somewhere else? Not a lot of the big clubs want him, so he's going to end up at one of these smaller clubs. I've heard possibly Napoli. I've heard this talk about the Saudi Arabia club. Where do you think Cristiano Ronaldo ends up?
All right, so 2 things. 1, I finally went back, listened to the entire Alex Ferguson interview. I kind of spark noted it before. This time I had time because it was vacation. So I'm going to say this. He didn't say anything bad. He just said that Man U is not keeping up. So the fact that pissed off a lot of good
classic
clubs.
Ronaldo fan. Oh, he didn't say anything wrong. He didn't say anything wrong.
Go rewatch the interview, man. He was pretty polite about it. He just said, I came back. I was expecting them to, it's been 10, 15 years since I've been there. Facilities are still the same. I thought they would level up. I was insulted when they offered me 3 minutes off the bench. Hey, if you're the best player in the world, you have a right to be insulted for 3 players.
He's not the best player in the world.
He is.
He's not he's not a starting caliber player in the Premier League.
The coach alone at Man U, questionable.
If he's the best player in the world, how come none of the large clubs want him?
Because of what happens in the media when people portray a person as being angry and upset with a coach. The coach is definitely playing the spin game well.
That's been his whole career, and teams have been willing to put up with it because he scored goals, because he won you trophies. He doesn't do that anymore.
He was the best scorer on Manchester United last season, and now you're saying that he's not a good scorer?
No.
You're getting mad because I'm spitting facts. You're getting mad. He was the best goal scorer on Manchester United last season. Tell me I'm wrong.
Let me look.
You're going to look it up and you're going to be like, damn, AJ's right.
Let me take a look.
Yep.
He might have been.
Yeah, he was. So when you say that, he's not the best goal scorer, he is the best goal scorer. He's still producing at an age where people shouldn't. Wayne Rooney is skeptical of this man. When Wayne Rooney's career is over, when this guy is still playing and producing at a high level. So what I'm saying is the man is still the best.
They need him to be able to do more than score goals, though.
He needs a team around him that supports him, and that's the issue right there. Manchester United is not a good team. If you look at the way it's built, if you look at the coach that's at the helm, the coach has no experience. He has no idea what he's doing. He hasn't been there. He hasn't been a head coach before. If he has, it wasn't in a great league. So you put that with a guy who expects the best, there's going to be issues. So having said that, I before this whole Saudi Arabia thing happened, I was expecting, and this is a genuine expectation, for Paris Saint-Germain to come out of nowhere, deal Mbappe away, and then do this wild trade to get Messi and Ronaldo on the same team. Why? Think of the ticket sales. Even if they don't win, that's going to be something that everyone wants to see. The two greats playing together. You would. Mbappe. But a lot of Paris Saint-Germain fans.
You can look at this World Cup right now. Mbappe is arguably the best player in the entire World Cup right now. Mbappe's maybe the best player in the world. You want to trade
now think of this:
for an old husk of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Neymar, Ronaldo, and Messi, arguably people that can say the 3 GOATs of soccer playing together on one team. That is something that a lot of people would want to watch.
PSG,
or you can get rid of Neymar and keep
gimmicks.
Mbappe.
They don't need gimmicks.
A gimmick. But it's literally entertainment. If that's a team that could win, and I mean honestly, that's a team that can win, why not? So that's me. But at the same time, hey, I wouldn't blame the guy to go to where he would be making $1 million a week. If you're getting like, I don't know, like 500,000 every game or something, bro, I would be happy. Like I would be sitting pretty if I'm getting $1 million in my account every week. Let alone the money that he's making from Nike and all the other endorsements. I mean,
Ronaldo needs to come to MLS. That's what he needs to do. He needs to come to the retirement league with Messi. That'll sell tickets. That'll be the boost the MLS needs. Have the two most famous players in the world playing in the MLS. He can come to Galaxy. He can come to LAFC. Play on the other side of the coast from Messi. Meet each other in the finals over here at the MLS. That's what he needs to do. The MLS needs to break out the bank. LA Galaxy need to break out the bank. They need to bring Ronaldo to MLS. That's the level that he's playing at right now. He's playing at an MLS player's caliber right now.
This is coming from an American fan who didn't even realize he was the top goal scorer on Man U.
I don't care about Man U. They're a shitty team. Why do I know who the best goal scorer Man U is? Who's the best goal scorer on Leeds? Do you know? No.
Because his name is not Cristiano Ronaldo.
Or you're watching Chelsea, okay? I watch good teams.
Who's the top goal scorer last season for Chelsea?
I mean, it's hard to say because actually for the last couple of years, Chelsea's been lacking like a definitive striker. Raheem Sterling, probably.
All right. I mean,
let's move on to the next topic. It's Thursday Night Football, Bills versus Patriots. Josh Allen, been falling apart over the last couple weeks. Started the season off super hot, was looking great. The last couple weeks, struggled massively. Bill Belichick, defensive mastermind, known to put a quarterback who struggles through the ringer. AJ, Patriots got a shot?
Patriots got a shot. They got a shot. I mean, is it a good shot? I wouldn't say that. If I was putting money on the game, I would still probably put it on the Bills. I don't know.
I think I would too, but the Patriots defense has been pretty solid over the last couple weeks, and like I said, Bill Belichick is known to mastermind a game, especially with the Bills lacking a running game. They're sort of relying on the pass, and Belichick knows how to make things confusing out there for a quarterback, especially one like Josh Allen over the last couple of weeks. He's been some of the worst interceptions we've seen since his rookie year. He's been throwing. He's throwing it just directly at defenders. So it's Thursday Night Football. Weird things always happen on Thursday Night Football. I'm going to take the Patriots in this one. Rocking right. USA. We're full Patriots tonight, baby.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, you're right. It's really hard to bet against Belichick. The guy knows how to exploit teams' weaknesses pretty easily. Like the man is kind of like one of the best coaches in the NFL. And that's coming from a guy who actually absolutely hates the Patriots and everything associated with the Patriots. So, but you got to give the man respect where respect's due. So having said that, you can never count out the Patriots, especially like you said, this season, Thursday Night Football has been wacky. But it's hard to bet against that potent offense that Buffalo has. Like they have the wide receivers to air it out. They do well. I still got to go against you. I got to disagree. I know they're shaky, but maybe this is the game that brings the Bills back. Maybe this rights the hitch in the step, Well,
yeah, I mean, we look at them over the last couple of weeks, like barely beat the Lions, lost to the Vikings, lost to the Jets. They're not on solid ground right now, and I trust Bill Belichick to do the Bill Belichick thing. Maybe the Bills are able to overcome that. I would love the Bills to be able to. Like, I want to see the Bills go deep into the playoffs.
But yeah, look at who they lost to. Like you said, they lost to the Jets, who are playing out of their mind this season. They lost to the Vikings, another team playing out of their mind that nobody was expecting. So you're right, 100%. The Bills haven't been performing, but like when you look back at it to who they weren't performing against, it's against the guys that are legitimately doing better than anybody expected to this entire season.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I mean, the Patriots are sitting at 6-5. The Jets at 7-4. Bills are in second place in the division at 8-3. If they lose to the Patriots in division games and the Jets win this week, Jets take that second. If the Bills don't win here, they're starting to have to worry about maybe not making the playoffs out. So this is sort of a must-win game for the Bills. So, but I'm gonna don't talk about the Seahawks and Raiders game. You can't get me to talk about that game. I'm not legally
I'm
required
so
to
happy
do that.
about that game. All I'm going to say is this. I had one player in fantasy. If I lost this week in fantasy, I would be completely out of any chance whatsoever to get into the playoffs. I still have a Hails Mary chance, so I love that. But it literally came down to, and I was watching the last play on Red Zone. They cut it off.
Josh
I couldn't
Jacobs.
find it. Yeah, it was literally just Josh Jacobs. And then he just ran 85 yards for a touchdown. And it went from, you have a 10% chance of winning this week to you have a 98% chance of winning this week. So it was Josh Jacobs, player of the week, in my opinion. That's all
Haters on the comeback. Yeah. They're all but mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. So I wouldn't bet too much on a comeback for the Raiders here, especially in that division. Speaking of that division, Justin Herbert takes on Tua. Sunday Night Football. It's been flexed. The Denver Broncos are so bad that they decided that a Patrick Mahomes game is not worth having in prime time. They flexed in Chargers versus Dolphins. I don't know if you've been following this a lot, but on this season, the internet discourse between Tua and Justin Herbert has been absolutely insane. Now, obviously, because the Dolphins took Tua over Justin Herbert in that draft. First year, it looked like that was a huge mistake. Justin Herbert was incredible his rookie year, while Tua really struggled on a bad team. Now, Tua's looking really, really great. And this is going to be a fun game to watch. There's going to be a lot of hating going on. Emmanuel Acho is going to clip out any bad throws that Justin Herbert has. If the Chargers lose, they're going to go insane. AJ, what do you think here? Tua or Justin Herbert? Who gets it done?
If you asked me this a year ago, my answer would be completely different. But I'm gonna go with Tua. I mean, I definitely feel like the Dolphins something clicked, and it feels like I've been saying the 49ers is the most potent offense in the NFL. I think the Dolphins are potentially number 2.
They're way better. They're way better.
Okay.
I know you're
like
the better. 49ers struggled the first half of every game. They
really
scored
do.
3 points in the first half of this last game. You watch the Dolphins play, it's insane. It'll be
people.
4th and 8 and they'll just get it. This team is nuts. You say something clicked. I'll tell you what clicked. Tyreek Hill. That's what clicked.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Tyreek Hill. He is the piece that was missing in that offense. And but it's hard
Mike McDaniel's designed an offense there that works so well. You look at how open their receivers are, and it's they're the most open I've ever seen receivers in the NFL on a week-to-week basis. It's insane. I would say that this game would be closer if the Chargers didn't have so many injuries. They've got Joey Bosa out. Their defense is super banged up. Offensive line super banged up. The weapon discrepancy here that the Chargers have, not quite the same. Austin Eckler has sort of been hot and cold this season.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that the Dolphins get it done, but I think it's still out on quarterback competition. Who's actually better? Because the times when I think, you know what, maybe Justin Herbert doesn't have it, all of a sudden he throws one of the craziest passes I've ever seen in my life. So I think it's too close to call about which one of these guys is actually the better quarterback.
I kind of agree, but it's hard to not look good when you have somebody like Tyreek Hill on your squad.
It's true.
So
it's absolutely true. They lead the league in yards after the catch. So yeah, they're absolutely getting the most use out of him and Jalen Waddle. Let's take a look at our next topic because we got another quarterback topic here. Except this is a weird one. There's a lot of talk recently about, I think people have decided that the Russell Wilson trade is the worst trade in sports history. People are saying this right now. I think it's and I mean, For most of the year, I mean, yeah, I absolutely agree. They gave up 2 firsts, they gave up 2 seconds, they gave up a handful of players, some really, really good players too. People have just sort of like locked it in. That's the worst trade in sports history. But there was another trade that happened. Oh, we got somebody backstage, it appears. Somebody perfectly here to talk about quarterback talk.
Yes.
You want to introduce our guest?
I will, because we were a little nervous that you weren't going to make it today on time. Because it is a stressful time for any postal worker right now. Holidays. So we're trying to bring in people to alleviate that stress from Jose. And this guy was the first guy I could think of. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the FCF this past season. And genuinely one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He's also just got like added to an XFL team that everybody's probably going to be watching if you're a fan of the FCF. This man is the great, the one, the only magic magician, Mitch Kidd.
What's up, guys?
Hey, man.
What's up,
How you
Mitch?
doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys? Good to see you, AJ.
It's good to see you too, man. I'm doing good. How's being a newlywed? Congratulations on that. How's Thanksgiving? Talk about it, man.
Thank you. It was good. You know, first time that we've like kind of split up the holidays, so that part was kind of weird. I'm not used to that part, but yeah, it was good.
I'm in the same boat, man. I want to say this. I texted you when it happens, but I want to congratulate you, man. Congratulations on joining the XFL, joining the Guardians. You're alongside a lot of FCF brothers. How are you feeling about everything, man?
I feel good. You know, got the
yeah, there it is.
But you know, remember where you came from.
There it is. There it is.
Love it.
But yeah, I'm excited. I definitely still want to be, you know, a part of the FCF this year coming up. You know, no matter what capacity it's in, whether I'm just on the field getting to talk with the guys or whatever, I'll definitely be out in Atlanta.
All right. Well, hey, don't make promises you can't keep, because maybe we'll just send you a Bored Ape NFT and you may have to start picking, you know, plays for a team that you never played for. Anyway, moving on. Let's go back to what we were just talking about. Tua versus Justin Herbert. Well, who do you think is going to be better this week?
Yeah, let's do that one. Mitch. So you're a quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in our league, the FCF. We got 2 great quarterbacks right now, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa. They got picked in the same draft. Do you have opinions? Which one you think's better? Which one's got the better talent?
It's tough because I feel like they're a little bit different, because you got Herbert, who's more on like the Josh Allen type scale, where he's big, he's got a cannon, he makes some really special throws. And then you got Tua, who seems to have a little bit less arm talent per se, but throws the ball accurately and throws the ball on time. And I think he potentially has a better cast around him. I think Miami put a lot of pieces together really, really fast. And obviously it's making them look really good. So I think maybe you go with Herbert, but I think Tua is probably in the better situation. So, I mean, I think he'll win more games and go further in the short term.
If you had to pick one, okay, so like, I mean, I remember coming out of college, people said that Tua, the most accurate quarterback they'd ever seen in college coming out of Alabama, right? And then you see some of the throws that Justin Herbert makes, some of the wildest arm talent you've ever seen. He'll put the ball in a place that you've never seen it before. If you could only take one of those talents, is that pure, just launch the ball arm talent, or the incredible accuracy of Tua Tagovailoa as a quarterback? Which one would you rather have?
I think that between the two of them, it comes down to kind of a leadership thing. I guess if I was going to have to draft them, drafting quarterbacks is the most difficult thing, I think, personally. And I think I would have gone maybe lean toward Herbert, because for me, it would be harder to teach and coach a left-handed quarterback.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
AJ, I think we lost your audio.
Thanks. Appreciate it. You know, things happen over here. Technical difficulties.
We got a couple more topics though, so let's get into some of these other ones. So yeah, like we were talking about earlier, the Russell Wilson trade. People are saying it's the worst in the history of sports, but there's one that came out of the NBA this season that has apparently just been as bad, potential to be worse, which is the Rudy Gobert trade. The Rudy Gobert trade was so massive that the entire NBA free agency market had to be completely shut down. Kevin Durant couldn't get traded this offseason because the asking price for Rudy Gobert was way too high. AJ, which trade do you think is going to end up being remembered as worse, the Russell Wilson trade or the Rudy Gobert trade?
Oh man, that's really hard for me. I genuinely think the Russell Wilson trade was like probably one of the worst trades in NFL history. I think that the Broncos did not get anything that they were expecting to get or hoping to get with that. But I'm going to say Gobert because it didn't make sense. They have Karl Anthony Towns. Like, why are they trading for another big man? They have one of the best big men. Yeah, it worked out for them now because it looks like Cat hurt himself and he could probably have an Achilles tear. But that just happened recently. So that's dumb luck that you got into that position. But genuinely, I don't know why that trade happened. It didn't make sense at all. Like,
terrible trade.
It was a lot of pieces for something that you really didn't need.
Yeah.
Like, if you were going to try to do a sign, like instantly trade him for another player, sure. If you're trying to package him for another player, 100%. None of that happened. So you're playing... you could kind of think of the Twin Towers experience. Wow, that's really bad that the Detroit Pistons had back in the day. But, it's not going to work if you don't have a potent offense behind it. And they don't.
If people don't know, the Rudy Gobert trade was 5 players, including Patrick Beverley, and 5 picks, including 4 first-rounders. So just like a massive amount of capital. Mitch, you got opinions on this?
Yeah, I think the Broncos trade was at least trying to fill the need. And whereas the Gobert trade, like you said, there wasn't really the need. So at least the Broncos went out on a limb. But if you put Tom Brady there, they're winning a Super Bowl right now. Like that defense is...
They have an incredible defense.
Yeah, it's insane. The stat they had a couple weeks ago where if the Broncos had scored 18 points per game, just 18 points, they would have only had like 1 loss on the season at that point. They would have been like 7-1. Ridiculous. Yeah. So the interesting thing about Russell Wilson, though, is his mental performance coach named Trevor Moawad, who he started working with at the end of college before the draft and has worked with him throughout his entire career, just passed away during last season.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is his first season not having him. And I think it's just been a lot of change at one time. And like, it's guys that don't really know him. And now all the stuff comes out about like some of the guys aren't really big fans of him, some of his old teammates, stuff like that. So I think that he'll get it figured out. I think so much of it is just mental, which is crazy because I mean, he's, a 5'11" guy and was doing all this amazing stuff. And so if it's true that so much of that was just mental, that's, outrageous in the sports world.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, I'm a Seahawks fan, so I've been watching Russell Wilson for, a decade now. I was a huge Russell fan. Obviously him leaving hurt me deeply. And I really wanted him to not do very well at Denver, but I will say, like, I don't think that this is a long-term. This is what Russell Wilson looks like for the rest of his career. I do think over the next couple of years, he really gets things figured out. They're going to get a new coach. They're going to build an offensive system that he actually works in. I think they're going to start running a lot more RPOs in there and stuff, which he was always really good at in Seattle. I think the real thing that you have to look at when it comes to this trade for Rudy Gobert is that this might cost them their best player because Anthony Edwards is pissed right now. He's got these 2 big guys clogging the paint. He can't do his amazing dunks. He can't do his great in the paint play stuff. So like this has the chance to completely wreck that franchise for the next 10 years just off this one trade. So that's sort of my pick because I think the Rudy Gobert trade in a couple of years will be looked at as far, far worse. Let's take a look at our next topic here because this is one that's been pissing me off for the last couple of days. So I'm just going to go for a little bit, okay? instant replay and VAR in the World Cup especially is ruining sports right now. I had many examples, but one just happened this morning. The France goal that got called off for offsides this morning. Insane. Don't see how it was offsides at all, but apparently the computer says it was. You look at the second goal that the USA should have scored against Iran that was called off for offsides because his kneecap was slightly past the player.
That was more than a kneecap, man.
It's just his knee.
It was not.
It's just his
It was
knee.
half his body.
No, go look at the picture. It's just the knee. This is not what offsides is supposed to be. Offsides is supposed to prevent a player from sitting back near the goal and just cherry picking goals. It's not supposed to stop a just running at the same speed as the defender, and the defender slightly slows down, and now boom, it's offsides. That's not what the rule's for. And enforcing it, because now we have cameras that can look at it with such great detail that we can check to see if a player's leg slightly went past the defender. It's terrible, man. It makes the game less exciting. You look at the NFL where the catch gets overturned. We saw multiple of them this weekend. There was one Saints versus 49ers. There was a catch that got overturned. There was one in the Seahawks game, DK Metcalf's catch at the end of the game, where the ball bobbles for 1/10 of a second. And so it's not a catch anymore. 1/10 of a second. Not perceptible by the human eye at all. You have to slow it down with the slowest cameras that we have. Get these crazy angles in there. I'm done with the slow motion replay, man. I just want to watch the game. I want to be able to, what my eye sees, I want that to be the result, not what a camera tells me. Mitch, do you have any, do you feel me on this? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that, so kind of going back to one of your examples with the catch, no catch deal. They had the catch for, I think it was Hunter Henry, who was in the end zone with the ball, and they called it no touchdown. But then Travis Kelce had one 3 weeks ago or whatever. It was almost the exact same thing, and they called it a touchdown. So I think that you almost have to only use the slow motion for, like, if the ball crosses the plane or something. Whereas if it's, a catch, no catch, offsides, no offsides, it should have to be in, like, full speed. Like, you can look at it if you want to. You can, because I think that instant replay is good for sports and good for the league up to a certain point. I'm with you. And I think at that point, if you have to slow it down and go and measure it with a fine line, then at that point, I don't know if you're really winning for the game, because that's not what fans want to see. Or let fans vote on it. I mean, who knows?
Let fans vote on it. Exactly. I love that idea.
I love it.
AJ, you got some ideas?
I mean, Mitch kind of took the words out of my mouth. I think you said it perfectly. There is a need for VAR. There is a need for instant replay. But I think Mitch hit the nail on the head with it. I think, like, maybe we just watch it in real time, take out the slow-mo. Because there are times where it is necessary to do that. During the World Cup, yes, there have been a couple on offsides calls. As a former, I was like a Georgia State soccer player, like all-state soccer player. I played really well. I was a striker. That was my thing. All I wanted to do is score goals. And the thing that prevented me from doing that all the time was offsides. So I hate the offsides just as much as anyone. But I think there is a need for it. Yeah, we are getting a little ticky-tacky with it. I think, having a chip in the ball just to make sure we can get the most accurate, onside or offsides calls, I think that's a little excessive. Let's keep it back to where it was before. The line guys are there. Maybe if it's, very blatant, or if it leads to a goal, sure, check if it was onsides or not. But to do it every time like that, I think it's extensive. I think you're right. If it's just a shin, if it's a kneecap, that's not offsides. That's just being faster, having just a little more coordination. But there was, I think it was the Wales-Iran game where the goalie came out, did a very dangerous play, and on the field they called it a yellow card. Now VAR is only there right now to go past yellow cards. They're not supposed to look over yellow cards. They're just supposed to make sure that they can overturn it if it's a blatant red card. Now, when this came in, They saw it. It was pretty blatant. The guy didn't get the ball. It was worth a penalty. It was worth the red card. And in that situation, I think it's worth it. If you're trying to prevent people from getting hurt or doing dangerous plays that will hurt other players, that's the biggest intention for me is let's keep these athletes on the field as long as possible. Let's make sure nobody's going out of their way to hurt somebody, because that goes against the spirit of the game, whether it's football, whether it's soccer, whether it's football. All right, let's not hurt anybody, and let's use VAR in that way where it helps the game. It doesn't hinder it. Like, come on, the FCF has the best idea. Let's not slow the game down. Let's speed it up.
Absolutely. I hate seeing the game just completely stop for minutes at a time doing a review. Yeah. It feels like if you have to review it that much, that it takes that amount of time, it's not worth reviewing. We're just looking to overturn it at that point. And I don't like that.
There were a lot of calls like that this week in the NFL. And like, you know, hey, let's not stop the game for 15 minutes just because somebody bobbled the ball or, you know, as he was going down to the floor, his arms were underneath it. But when there's impact, it jumps up a little. That's just physics, guys. It's going to happen. Like, let's not take 30 minutes. We
played the game without it for so long. We can do it again. Okay, we got one more topic left on the show. Avatar 2, The Way of Water, is coming out this month, December. First Avatar came out 2009, was the biggest movie of all time. Been gone for a very long time. Mitch, are you going to go watch Avatar 2?
I'm going to go watch it. I was a little bitter when Marvel topped them on the biggest release of all time, and then they re-released Avatar in theaters to re-top Marvel. I thought that was a little cheap because it had been so long, but I was like, just release a second movie and win. But yeah, so I'm gonna go see it at some point.
You excited for it? Like, you anticipating this for a while, or is this just like, I'll just go see it because it's out?
Kind of almost forgot about it. It had been so long, honestly.
AJ, how are you feeling about Avatar 2, man? Are you excited for Avatar 2?
All right, I'm going to say it like this. I got really excited when the first Avatar came out because I thought it was Avatar the Airbender. And then I saw the M. Night Shyamalan version, so that just let me down even more. So I'm just like 0 for 2 for live action Avatar Airbender stuff. But, you know, I watched Avatar. I liked it. I thought it was cool. I didn't think that it was as great as everybody made it out to be. Having said that, my fiance and her dad love it. They are nuts about it. Every time we go to like Disney World, we have to do like the flight of the Avatar. My girlfriend loves it. And literally every time she's like, you can feel it breathing. Like, it's so funny. I love it. And her dad is just as gung-ho about it. So, you know, for that reason, I'm excited to see it. But like, if I'm being real, I'm more excited to see any other Marvel movie. I'm more excited to see the Fast and Furious franchise come out because it's got Jason Momoa in it. Like, how can he be in the Fast and Furious? Is he related to The Rock? Because that would make sense, I guess. But I'll take it or leave it.
Okay, so I'm not a massive Avatar fan by any means. I think the movie's pretty good. I don't love it, but I like it a lot more than most people do. Because now a lot of people seem to really not like it, which I think is unfair. I'm a massive James Cameron fan, though. I love James Cameron. Terminator 2, Aliens, The Abyss, Titanic. The man's put out just so many bangers throughout the years. He's a great director. Hasn't made a bad movie. Would I rather see him do something besides Avatar? Yes. But I'm going to be going to the theater because I want a new James Cameron movie. I actually watched the first Avatar over the weekend. Surprised by how well visually that movie still looks absolutely incredible. Still one of the best looking CG films ever made. Way better than anything that's, I mean, especially when you talk about like CG these days, where the animators are under so much stress with such short amount of turnaround that they get, and the amount of work that they have to do in such a little amount of time. You don't get to really see the full artistry of what they're capable of. You give them 10 years to make an Avatar movie. You watch this trailer, man, it looks incredible. I'm actually way more excited now that we're getting close to it than I thought I was going to be. I'm pretty excited for this movie.
Okay. Now I got to ask, from the trailer, you can't really glean too much about it, but do you like the idea of like Avatar being able to have real life children with those Na'vi? I think that's the name of the alien race.
I mean,
Because that's kind of what it alludes to.
I think that is what's happening. I guess it sort of makes sense, right? Because like they just built a body, so it should be like it should work, right?
Should it? I don't know.
Like if they built like a human, like if they basically like they cloned a human, right? Is what like they did, and they put it there. You'd expect it to be able to do everything, right? I don't know.
I mean, I guess I always thought of it as like an android. I never really thought of it as
No,
like
they
an organic
they say in the movie they
being.
clone it off of dead Na'vi, which is
Okay, that's kind of
weird.
really creepy. And
It is like if
kinda
you think about the movie, that essentially Jake Sully is running around in like a dead
zombie
version of
suit.
somebody that they knew. That's pretty
Yeah.
weird.
It's like imagine if like they didn't tell anybody about that, and then like your brother, like who died a couple years ago, just like back there, it's like, bro, whoa, what happened? It's like, I have no idea who you are. What? Just like, you're my. We've been brothers for years. What are you talking about? It's me. It's James. Look at me. Like,
That's so
where's
creepy.
that Avatar movie? Come on, am I
That
the only
should
one
be
who wants
that
to see
we
that?
should make that Avatar movie
That-
of like
yeah.
the first avatars and just like what do you mean you're like driving around like a suit of my friend? That's weird.
Why do I have to sign these papers allowing you? Am I reading this correct? You want to exhume my body and then put someone else's brain in it like a VR situation? I don't know if I want to sign these papers.
Perfect way to end the show, AJ. Love it.
I'm sorry, I had to.
All right, Mitch, thanks for stopping by, man. Love talking to you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I had a good time. We'll have to do this again at some point.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely, man. So
We're
yeah,
gonna-
you're playing. You're on the Orlando Guardians for the XFL, so everybody can make sure they watch out that. But if they want to follow you anywhere else, man, Instagram, Twitter, what do you got?
Yeah, I got Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is Mitch_Kidd10, I think. Twitter's something like that too.
Okay, perfect.
Also, before we get off, that's a banging mustache.
Oh, thank you, my
Fantastic.
friend. Thank you.
Love it.
There it is.
I keep talking about like, it's kind of starting to bug me. I think maybe I'll shave it off, and then every day I'll like get on a show or get on a call for somebody, and somebody go, "The mustache, dude, the mustache, so good."
Top notch.
So I have to keep it around.
Definitely.
AJ, where can people follow you? What do you got going on?
I got this going on, man. I'm a part of the Info Arcade. I wasn't yesterday, but it's because I was driving. But I got that on Tuesdays. I got, Don't Cause the Ruckus on Wednesdays. And I think I may just start Twitching again because that's fun. I like playing video games. So yeah, everything's at King Khah for everything. So check that out. But Mitch, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you. You're one of my favorite guys that I got to hang out with and meet in this past season. And we're definitely going to be annoying you, at least I am, to come back on and give us some updates. Tell us what the XFL is like, how cool The Rock is, what his, genuine scent is. I feel like sandalwood is something that he would just emanate. But we're going to ask you some questions in the future. And just because you're in the XFL doesn't mean you're not a part of the FCF family. So
Yeah, absolutely. Camp starts in January too, so we'll have to hop back on in January and get you updates and just ask me whatever questions you got.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
always.
Cool.
It's good
Oh, yeah.
seeing you.
All right, you too, guys. Thanks.
All right.
All right. Well, gotta remember, people, don't cause a ruckus. Every Wednesday, twitch.tv
There it is.
/fan controlled sports, 6 p.m. on the Pacific Coast. Of course, you can always find the show on YouTube, youtube.com/fan controlled sports. You get the VOD. You can watch that any time of the week.
And podcasts.
And podcast service. We're on podcast services now. You can tweet at me, at Jose Ruckus. Let us know what topics you want us to cover on the show. If there's anything that happens over the sports weekend, you want to hear us talk about it, let us know. We'll put it on the dock. Want to hear what if you guys want to hear about us argue something not sports related, like if we want to watch Avatar 2, tweet that at me as well. We'll definitely put it on the doc. We want to talk about stuff you guys want to hear about. But until next time, let's keep the ruckus to a minimum.
Don't cause a ruckus. We talking that talk, just spitting them facts. We setting them traps and cracking them backs. We got all the news, we know all the stories. We start from the bottom, rise up to the glory. Yeah, we say what your local reporters can't say. We break down the X's and O's on the play. It's AJ, King, Con, and Jose. Ruckus. We call it right on the first take, and they love us. Yeah, we the best when it comes to sports debate. Find the podcast and let it play. If we get you in your feelings, that's okay. AJ and Jose send you on your way like, bruh, don't cause a ruckus.
We just call it how we see it, big bro.